Okay, welcome back. Let's check what the dailies are saying this morning. And we're going to be starting with the one that continues to express trust every day. That is daily trust. And the battle between the Kwara State government and the former governor of Kwara State and the former president of the Nigerian Senate, distinguished Senator Bukola Saraki, still continues as the Kwara State government had released another statement on the trial of Senator Saraki and six others in respect to the offer robbery. Remember, on Monday, the Kwara State government released this same statement, and then the media officer to the former president of the Senate and governor also responded yesterday. So I think the Kwara State government is still, insisting on the point raised in the earlier statement. I guess that's why they have to bring it up yet again. Still staying with daily trust. 6 in 10 university students are into Yahoo Yahoo. And that is coming from the chairman of EFCC. Bandits raid Zamfara communities as residents flee. And still on daily trust, suspected killer cop arrested to face disciplinary panel. So, when the NSAS protest happened a couple of years back, a lot of people were not exactly understanding what the issues were. It wasn't just about police brutality. It was also trying to proceed that the police needs to be mentally checked, because you look at how people are being stereotyped because you're wearing a certain look, you wear dreads, you have inks or tattoos on your body, and then automatically they assume that you're a criminal. And that was one of the things that led to the movement of NSAS protests that we had a few years ago. Now, maybe the dissolution of the SARS and all of that had not exactly brought sanity into the Nigerian police. We saw a disturbing video yesterday where a suspect was shot openly by a rampaging and probably mentally disturbed police officer that is just opportune to have an AK-47 that was actually bought from the sweat and the taxpayers of probably the young man he shot. If it was a suspect, there are reasons where we have the courts. The police is a law enforcement agent. You take him to court, you charge him, whatever you found in his possession, you don't have any right whatsoever to take that human life. And more importantly for me is the most disturbing part, where there are other police officers around, the said police. In fact, one of them held his bullets for him to adjust his gun. And a man or a suspect that has been arrested, tied down, his hands to his back. I was telling the police that he's ready to cooperate and confess. Out of nowhere, he just shot him and killed him. So there's been a lot of conspiracies around that story. Was the police officer acting as a contractor, or perhaps to silence the young man from spilling some truth? Time will tell. I want to thank Nigerians for this one. The response has been huge. The Delta State Police Commander released a statement that the said police officer has been brought in. But I'm wondering, there were 6 police officers at the scene of that unfortunate incident. Why arrest only one? Let's keep our fingers crossed. That is the much that Daily Trust is giving us this morning. Let's check the Sun. The Sun is talking, and it says, court affirms FCCPC power to probe medical intelligence. 6 out of 10 varsity students are into Yahoo. That is coming from the chairman of the EFCC. Okay. NLC cries over workers' worsening condition, with the rider says high fuel price, unstable naira, inflation is taking toll on workers, 6 government intervention. A couple of days back, I was asking questions that it seems the Nigerian Labour Congress is not part of the Nigerian setup anymore. And I remember the early 2000s, the days of now Senator Adams Oshiomhole, under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. That was when the NLC was still centralized. When the NUT is going on strike, everyone is shutting down. When the Nigerian Medical Association is also going on strike, everybody is also joining to show solidarity. But the decentralization of the NLC seems to have broken the strength and the power of what used to be Nigerians' foremost Workers' Welfare Union. However, it's been a shadow of itself, from leadership issues, supposed loyalty and patronage to certain politicians, and these are the issues that the NLC seems to be dealing with right now. But hey, they're speaking up and they're asking the government, what do you want to do to the plight of the Nigerian people? Minimum wage is 70,000. That can barely buy you a bag of rice. What happens to every other utilities? What happens to bills? What happens to rent? What happens to taking care of their children? It's a whole lot, and I really pity the Nigerian workers. But hey, the NSC is asking the government to intervene and do the right things. Okay, still on Daily Sun, we have 2027. I will contest, says Tinubu picks APC tickets. We saw it yesterday where the member representing the Ikeja Federal constituency, Honorable James Faleke, led some other APC members to purchase the nomination form for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 100 million naira. So the president is coming out to say that I will be on the ballot if I win the primaries, or if there's going to be primaries at all. So we're still staying with Daily Sun, and it says Accord Party disowns Ibadan coalition, insists on fielding presidential candidates. Reps Deputy Speaker Kalu urged law school, I beg your pardon, to dismiss petition against it and also withdraw. Alleged $65,000 fraud. I don't have a personal contact with any contractor. There's a senator that is in eye of the storm. The senator representing the FCT in the Senate, Senator Ireti Kingibe, voted on the platform of the Labour Party, and I think in December 2025 decamped to the coalition, the AADC. She's facing a lot of questions in respect to her relationship with an allegation of a failed $65,000 payment meant for the contract that never materialized. We keep our fingers crossed. Don't forget, they are still with us on MITV Plus Breakfast Express. We're going through the dailies, and when we take a break after this, we'll get into the conversation, and that will be the time where it becomes more of you and less of me, because we'll open the phone lines. Let's see what the business day is also saying. Okay, Lagos Eyes 2027 takeoff for first state licensed power plants. Maybe finally we just could get lucky here. Investors pile into Nigeria's Eurobond as yields falls to 6.89%. Nigerian targets $92 billion crypto flow in offshore oversight tests. Those are the stories that Business Day is presenting for Nigerians today. Okay, let's look at the Punch. Well, it's 2027 election, and the build-up is certainly, gathering momentum as fast and as quick as possible. 2027 election, Tinubu APC bigwig speaks form as GAC backs Hamzat. Yayi Wadada high succession in Ogun and Nasarawa. APC would reclaim Bauchi party vows. And of course, coalition no threat to Tinubu. Who is speaking? That would certainly be Honorable James Faleke. Well, we saw it's been a series of endorsements in the last few weeks, maybe a week or thereabouts, beginning from the Chief of Staff to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, to the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. And now, day before yesterday, the Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, also endorsed his deputy, saying that he's fit mentally, physically, and very experienced to take Lagos to the next level. Now, the biggest organ of stakeholders in Lagos, the Governor's Advisory Council, GAC, had also endorsed Dr. Hamzat for the governorship of Lagos. So, well, we keep our fingers crossed. Presidency counters Northwest neglect claims, lists ongoing projects. Reps approves Tinubu's $516 million loan request for Sokoto Badagry Highway as xenophobic protests escalate in South Africa. Locals target school children. I saw the video somewhere yesterday and I was disturbed. If Africa says they want to unite, if we have the AU, the African Union, if we have the ECOWAS representing the interest of the Western African states, and then you ask yourself, the xenophobic attack is that the next thing to go? And you ask again, what exactly are South Africans asking for? They said the foreigners should leave their country. Whether you have documents, you're legally allowed to stay, or you're an immigrant that is not fully documented, they want you out. And businesses of not just Nigerians, Ghanaians, Kenyans, Rwandese, Somalis, their businesses are being attacked. And it has gotten to a point where children of immigrants are being sent out from schools. Little kids, what memory do you want to leave with those children? What are you putting in their minds? I think the South African government will need to sit down and ask their citizens the right questions. Well, we're not saying they don't have the right to make demands. They said they want to take back their country. But if you want to do that, you have to be logical about it. There was a time where South Africa was at the mercy of the entire world. Nigeria played a big role in how South Africa fought during the apartheid. So when Nigerians are now being attacked, Ghanaians are being attacked, Sudanese are being attacked, because it took question how united Africa truly is. So we're appealing to the South African government to please, we don't want killings. There are reports this week that 2 Nigerians were killed in South Africa due to this xenophobic attack. We're appealing to the South African government, President, of course, Maforisa should do the right thing and call everyone into order. But more importantly, to the Nigerian government as well, we need to, at this point, establish a strong statement to the South Africans to make them understand the fact that nobody, I repeat, has the right to take any life under any condition. If you found anyone contravening the laws of your country, report those people to the relevant authorities and don't take laws into their hands. Every single life, they say, matters. So, and that is that on the xenophobic attack going on in South Africa. Still on the Punch, Neymar evacuates 12 children, 10 infants, 159 others from Libya. And Neymar is the National Emergency Management Agency. And the evacuation has been going on for a couple of years now. Nigerians want to return home. But again, what are they returning to? Okay. The picture stories also on the Punch newspaper. The Managing Director and Chief Executive of Transcorp Power PLC, Mr. Peter, and the chairman, Mr. Emmanuel, during the 13th annual general meeting of the company at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja yesterday. Well, we still have the Punch, the top right corner, with a picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Federal government targets $3 billion share earning with export ban. Okay. Delayed Supreme Court judgment. Opposition fears election exclusion. ADC petitions CJN. That is much that Punch is giving us this morning. Let's go to the Nation newspaper. And okay, the wife of the president, Senator Remi Tinubu, was in Borno to commission the Zulum's nursing quarters and 2 mega schools. So that is the picture on the front page of the Nation newspaper with a screaming headline: Tinubu picks nomination form to open re-election bid. Hamzat, Yayi, Adamu, Tumsa, Buba takes governorship forms. Well, we know of distinguished Senator Lamilekon Yayi was endorsed by the leadership of the APC in Ogun State as the successor to Governor Abiodun, the Governor Dapo Abiodun. And of course, it's been a series of endorsements. And yesterday, the GSC followed up with Governor Sanwo-Olu's endorsement of his deputy on Monday, and it looks like the coast is clear for the deputy governor of Lagos, and it's going to be the first of many. First off, he's going to be the oldest person to ever govern Lagos. He's 61, so if he wins the election, he's going to be 62. And yet again, that will be the very first time that the Lagos governor will be choosing his successor, and in this case, his deputy. The conversation around internal democracy, consensus, the waiting game, all of that would also be put to test as the opposition in Lagos would hope to build on whatever they got in 2023 and make the Lagos state election competitive. So that is much on the nation. Storm over Mark-led ADC. NWC's ultimatum to Supreme Court. Okay. Ruto backtrack, says Nigerians speak excellent English. Witness how $623 million taken from CBN coffers under Emefiele. That is the witness explaining in the ongoing trial of the former CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele. So we leave the Nation newspaper. We'll go to Daily Independent, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so let's see what Daily Independent is reporting this morning. Well, the picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also at the front page with the interim report on the presidential petroleum reforms and value optimization by Mr. Fola Adeola, is the chairman of that committee. Let's run through what the headlines are saying for the Daily Independent today. ADC writes CJN, 6 urgent ruling on party leadership tussle. Court affirms FCCPC powers to investigate medical negligence. The biggest headline says experts point structural rot and graft in power sector challenge. We've heard this over and over again. Oh, we need the structures up. Oh, the equipment are bad. Oh, we need to do some maintenance. I think Nigerians will get tired at some point and they will start looking for more alternatives to providing power to ourselves. Generators, solar panels, different ways of trying to make sure that you are your own local government chairman. It's very interesting. They will tell you if you're struggling with electricity, go buy solar. Do you know what the cost of a proper solar panel is in the market right now? There are conspiracies around the power challenge in Nigeria that the people importing the generators and the solar manufacturers will probably not make us have stable electricity in Nigeria. That's just a conspiracy. Let's keep our fingers crossed. NNPC reports 5-year 1.71 MBPD oil outputs. That's impressive. Reps OK's $516.33 million loan for the Sokoto Badagry Super Highway project. So, the House of Representatives had approved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's request to borrow yet another loan to finance the Sokoto Badagry Super Highway project. This time around, $516.33 million. Okay. Tinubu signals re-election bids, picks 2027 presidential form. Well, the time is up and the countdown has started. So from now to the 30th of May, yes, political parties would have to sell their forms, conduct their primaries, forward the names of their candidates to INEC, and I think that signals officially the opening of the electionary campaign. And so, Nigerians, welcome to election, welcome to politics. This time around, governance could just take the back seats and the politics would begin. So, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken the lead. He's picked up the nomination form for the All Progressive Congress. 100 million naira, by the way. And that was done by the member representing the Ikeja Federal Constituency, Honorable James Faleke. OAU orders 3 weeks mid-semester break amid student protests. Senate considers new bill to diversify police funding. That is on Daily Independent with a small story at the very tail end of the newspaper, small insurers race against time as recapitalization deadline looms. That is much on Daily Independent. If you want more of those stories, pick a copy of the newspaper for yourself and get more details from those stories. The Vanguard. You're still live on MITV Breakfast Plus. And because I'm riding solo today, I'm truly missing my co-host. But I'm sure she's somewhere watching and she's thinking, okay, it's good. I'll be on the show tomorrow. But please, would always say health is wealth. You have to absolutely take care of yourself because you have to be alive to balance every structure. So please get well soon. Okay, let's check what the Vanguard is also saying. With a screaming headline, 2027, ADC PRP blows hot. As we stand at grave risk of exclusion, ADC is asking the CJN to act fast. Okay. Our restraint should not be mistaken for weakness. PRP is also speaking. With the rider, ADC seeks quick delivery of Supreme Court judgment, alleges crisis in PRP is engineered by the APC. APC pushes back against allegations of undermining PRP as lawyers urge trust in Supreme Courts amidst INEC deadline pressure. Okay. Still on the Vanguard, Jet A1, middlemen defy regulators, raise price to 2,230 naira per litre. 1 million naira salary worthless without stable naira. That is coming from the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress. 1 million naira salary is worthless without stable naira. Okay, still on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second term bid, Tinubu kicks off 2027 re-election bid as APC begins sales of nomination forms. I'm sure you've seen the story with the member representing the Ikeja Federal Constituency, Honorable James Faleke. One Dangote is not enough. Check that out on page 14 of the Vanguard. Okay, so there was a mega declaration that went on a few days ago in Delta, and that is for Senator Dafinon's declaration for his second term in the Senate. And the Senate, I think the senatorial election in Delta State will be more interesting than the gubernatorial election itself, because the APC has so many big wigs, so many big players, so much interest fighting to represent their people at the Senate. Former governor of the state and vice presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Senator Okowa, has also thrown himself in the rings to return to the Senate. And of course, there is still a serving senator right there. Senator Ned Nwoko is also very much in the mix. So Delta State senatorial election will be more interesting than the governorship election of the state. But let's keep our fingers crossed. Some other stories on the Vanguard. 400 billion naira airline credit market. Alton raises concerns over regulatory disputes. UAE quits OPEC on the 1st of May, raises concerns over market stability. I was reading this story and I was discussing with a couple of my friends yesterday that if the United Arab Emirates chooses to pull out of OPEC, it's a big concern for the United States because they are their biggest buyer of their oil. So United Arab Emirates is saying that, listen, the instability in the oil markets, obviously due to the war between US, Israel, and Iran, is taking a toll on them, and they cannot meet up with their daily quota. So they are pulling out of OPEC and every OPEC-related affiliation. That doesn't look like a good one, but it's okay. And finally, on the Vanguard, family recount horrific killing of Abuja Corps member, demands justice. So when I saw this story, I think on Sunday night or early hours of Monday, I was concerned. A Corps member, was just killed like that in his home, and then the army said he was caught in a crossfire I didn't know how close that was. So when I got home from work on Monday night, my closest friend and my former flatmate, he runs a property, is into property development in Abuja, and he called me. Usually he doesn't call me on direct call. I just saw his missed call 3 times, and I reached out, Tibo, what's going on? He said, have I heard about the call member that was shot? I said, yes. I saw the story. We talked about it on Monday morning. And he said, the guy is his staff. I went weak. And I'm like, what happened? He said he was at home. Soldiers were chasing some armed robbers, and then the shots, and then the bullet went through the door and hit the boy. And that was the end of it. A call member, he was supposed to pick up his first salary with my friend just this month because he just started working with them. It's quite unfortunate. And just while we're still talking about that one, we saw the unfortunate killing also yesterday, openly. This country needs a lot of research. And until we're ready for that, acknowledging the fact that elections cannot just fix our problems, we're probably not going to make any progress. Okay. The Vanguard or the Guardian, one of my favorite actually, is also reporting Faleke picks presidential form for Tinubu's second term bid. Court orders MTN Airtel to resume airtime lending services. Somebody made a joke on one of the social media platforms a couple of days ago that Twitter specifically, or former X, formerly Twitter, that there are few people on X now that because people can no longer borrow airtime and data. So court has ordered MTN and Airtel to resume activities and start borrowing Nigerians airtime again. Please, some of us, that's how we survive. We borrow, we pay back, and we borrow again. Okay. United Arab Emirates exits Ratu's OPEC as UN warns of worsening trade and food crisis. Well, they say that you would always know when a war starts. Sometimes you don't know the consequences and the damage it could leave you with. People have been killed. American soldiers, Israelis, Iranians, everyone have been caught in this. Even Nigerians are feeling it. Now the United Arab Emirates is pulling out of OPEC, and that would really, really affect the United States. Even though they want to be, they don't want to admit sometimes. But for UAE to pull out, UAE is one of the biggest contributor under the OPEC, membership. So, opacity, weak audit trails federal government spending amid abuse of Fiscal Responsibility Act. One of the reasons why I really enjoy Guardian is how details they can put up some of these, stories. So you can check page 6 to get full details of that particular headline. ADC 2027 prospects as court delays raises fresh fears. 2027, GAC adopt Hamzat as consensus candidate. The GAC is the Governor's Advisory Council in Lagos. And we saw the video yesterday. There was a statement, a press release by the leadership of the GAC, and of course, as adopting a consensus candidate in Dr. Hamzat. Well, like I said earlier on, it's the first of many. This is the first time we're seeing a sitting governor endorsing his deputy to take over from him in Lagos. We always know how some of these deputy issues always end. From Chief Mrs. Kuforola Bokno to Femi Pedro to Madam Orelokpe. But this time around, it seems the governor has been able to build a cordial and respectful relationship with his deputy, a man that's actually stepped down for him and build up to the 2019 election. Maybe the waiting game, consensus, was still waiting for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, by the way. I mean, you can't deny that fact. He literally controls who gets what in Lagos. But we've seen endorsement from the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. We've seen endorsement from the former Speaker of the House of Representatives and now the Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the governor himself had endorsed his deputy, and now the Governor's Advisory Council, GAC, the very powerful stakeholder bloc in Lagos, had also endorsed the deputy governor. Federal government moves against malnutrition. OK's the 2026 to 2035 nutrition policy. SANU to shut down varsities over stalled negotiation on Friday. Okay, SANU is the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, and they are saying that the federal government is stalling on agreements as far back as 2009, and if the government don't act between now and Friday, they will down tools and university will be shut. I hope the federal government will do something about that as quick as possible. Okay, EFC probes vice chancellor over inflated contracts and student fees diversion. Okay, quite interesting. Terrorist, I beg your pardon, threatens to execute 176 Kwara abductees. I saw the story yesterday, and then where they are saying that they're demanding for 1 billion naira from the government to release the 176 people in their nets. That is disturbing. 176 is a large number of people. If you put 176 people in this studio, I doubt if there will be enough space or proper ventilation. So imagine having 176 innocent Nigerians going through everyday torture in the name of a failed system that had refused to protect her people. So their life is at risk. The moment you get picked up, your life is at risk, because there's no guarantee that even if the ransom are paid, you still will be released. But I'm hoping that the government will do the right thing. Maybe not exactly negotiate, just get people out and let everybody find peace. Okay. Rivers, stakeholders bemoan law in governance, multiple stalled projects. Well, Governor Fubara is fighting for his political life. And, the last 3 years in Rivers have been very interesting. From state of emergency to impeachment attempts to decamping from the House of Assembly reps, some senators, the governor, the influence of the FCT minister and the immediate past governor of the state, Barrister Nyesom Wike. It's just been a whole lot for a state that is supposed to be leading in terms of infrastructures and development. It's not looking good, and I'm sure the people of Rivers will speak when the time comes. We're done with Guardian newspaper, and then I think we've come to the end of the newspaper reviews this morning. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, we look into the Police Trust Fund Amendment Bill, as Senate is speaking about it, and that will be after taking this short break. Don't go nowhere. You're live on MITV Plus Breakfast Express. I'll be right back.